Wealth isn't about luck and poverty isn't about fate. They are both the result of a series of choices, habits, and beliefs. Most people spend their lives working hard for money, yet they never seem to have enough. Why? Because they were never taught how to control money before money controls them. They earn, they spend, and they start over. Month after month, year after year. It's a cycle, and for many, it's a trap. But here's what the wealthy understand. Money is a tool, not a master. It's either working for you or you're working for it. And the difference isn't in how much you make. It's in how you think about money and what you do with it. So today, let's talk about how to take charge of your financial future, how to stop being a servant to money, and how to finally start building wealth that lasts. Most people don't struggle financially because they lack opportunities. It's not because they don't work hard, it's because they don't understand how money truly works. They don't have a plan, and without a plan, their money controls them instead of the other way around. Look around, and you'll see this pattern everywhere. People earn a paycheck, spend it on necessities, a few luxuries, and before the month is over, they're waiting anxiously for the next paycheck. It becomes a cycle. And year after year, nothing changes. Why? Because they haven't learned the fundamentals of money management. They haven't developed the habits that lead to financial success. One reason people stay trapped in this cycle is because they spend everything they make. If they get a raise, their expenses increase to match their new income. It's called lifestyle inflation. Instead of setting money aside, instead of thinking about their future, they upgrade their car, move into a bigger apartment, or start spending more on things they don't need. Before they know it, they're still living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher level. Now, let me ask you a question. If you don't have the discipline to manage a small amount of money, what makes you think you'll manage a fortune any better? It's not about the amount, it's about the mindset, it's about the habits. Another reason people stay broke is they don't track where their money is going. They don't have a budget. And if you don't tell your money where to go, it will disappear without a trace. $1 here, $5 there, it adds up. It's easy to look at your bank account at the end of the month and wonder, where did it all go? But wealthy people don't operate like that. They give every dollar a purpose. They know exactly how much is coming in, exactly how much is going out, and exactly what they are doing with what's left. That's how wealth is built, one decision at a time. Some people think the problem is that they don't earn enough. They believe that if they could just make more money, their financial troubles would disappear. But the truth is, it's not about how much you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn. There are people making six figures who are drowning in debt, and there are people making far less who are financially secure. Why? Because financial security doesn't come from a high income. It comes from managing what you have. And here's another trap. Too much consumer debt, credit cards, personal loans, car payments. People borrow money to buy things they can't afford, thinking they'll pay it off later. But the problem is that later never comes. The interest piles up, and suddenly they're working just to cover their debts. It's like digging a hole and wondering why you're getting deeper instead of climbing out. The only way to escape that trap is to stop digging. If you want to build wealth, you have to stop financing a lifestyle you can't afford. The truth is, managing money isn't complicated, but it does require discipline. It requires a change in philosophy. If you're serious about building wealth, start by breaking the cycle. Don't spend everything you make. Pay yourself first. Create a budget and track your spending. Reduce debt and avoid unnecessary borrowing. And most importantly, develop the right habits now. Because if you can't manage a little, you'll never be able to manage a lot. Building wealth starts with mastering the basics. And once you do that, everything changes. If wealth was only about hard work, then laborers would be the richest people in the world. But we know that's not the case. The difference isn't effort. It's knowledge. It's understanding how money works, how to make it grow, and how to use it wisely. That's why financial education is not a luxury. It's a necessity. If you want to be wealthy, you have to be a student of money. The more you learn, the more you earn. Most people spend years in school learning how to work for money, but they never take the time to learn how money works for them. They understand how to earn a paycheck, but they don't understand how to make that paycheck work beyond paying bills. That's why so many people struggle. They were never taught the rules of the game, and if you don't know the rules, how can you expect to win? Wealthy people play by a different set of rules, not because they were born into privilege, but because they took the time to learn. They read books on finance. They study investment strategies. They learn about taxes. They educate themselves about business. They don't leave their financial future to chance. They take responsibility for their learning. They understand that ignorance is expensive, and the price of not knowing is far greater than the price of learning. A simple shift in knowledge can change everything. Let's say two people both make the same amount of money. One spends everything he earns, never saves, never invests, and never learns how to grow his income. The other studies how money works, learns about investing, understands the power of compounding, and makes his money work for him. 10 years down the road, one is still struggling while the other is on the path to financial independence. Same income, different results. The difference? One person chose to be a student of financial education. There's a reason why wealthy people never stop learning. They know that the world is constantly changing, and those who don't adapt get left behind. Technology, markets, opportunities, all of it evolves. And those who stay informed, who keep educating themselves, who continue to expand their financial intelligence, are the ones who stay ahead. Now, some might say, I'm not good with numbers, or finance is complicated. But the truth is, learning about money isn't difficult. It's just unfamiliar. And what's unfamiliar becomes easy once you make the effort to understand it. You don't need to be a financial expert, but you do need to know the basics. You need to know how to budget, how to save, how to invest, and how to protect your wealth. A great place to start is by reading books written by those who have mastered money. Listen to lectures, take courses, seek out mentors who can guide you. Surround yourself with conversations about wealth, not poverty. Pay attention to how successful people think, how they make decisions, how they grow their income. The more you learn, the more doors open. Because financial education isn't just about making more money, it's about keeping it, multiplying it, and using it to create the life you want. If you truly want to build wealth, commit to being a lifelong student. Because once you understand how money works, you'll never struggle financially again. If there's one thing that keeps people trapped in financial struggle, it's the habit of relying on a single source of income. Too many people work hard, clock in every day, collect a paycheck, and believe that's the only way to make money. They put all their financial security in one basket, hoping that nothing ever happens to that job, that boss, or that company. But hope is not a strategy. And in today's world, relying on just one source of income is one of the riskiest financial decisions you can make. Wealthy people understand this. They don't settle for just one stream of income. They create multiple. They don't stop at a paycheck. They look for opportunities. They find ways to grow their earning potential because they know that money flows to those who expand their value and create options. If you want financial security, you need to do the same. Now, increasing your earning potential doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow and taking wild risks. It starts with a shift in thinking. Instead of asking, how can I live within my income? Start asking, how can I increase my income? That question alone changes everything. Because when you focus on increasing your value, when you develop new skills, when you look for ways to serve more people, that's when income starts to grow. Think about it. If you only have one skill, you limit your income to that one skill. But if you learn more, if you develop expertise in multiple areas, suddenly your value increases. Employers pay more for valuable skills. Customers pay more for valuable services. The marketplace rewards those who offer more. Some people say, but I'm already busy. Yes, life is busy, but here's the question. Are you busy surviving? Or are you busy? Because There's a difference. Surviving keeps you in the same place. Building moves you forward. The difference between the wealthy and the struggling is what they do with their time outside of work. One group spends their evenings watching television. The other spends their evenings learning, creating, and investing in new opportunities. A second source of income doesn't have to be complicated. It could be starting a small side business. It could be investing in assets that grow over time. It could be developing a skill that allows you to freelance or consult. The key is to start, because once you open the door to earning in multiple ways, you'll never go back to relying on just one. Here's something to consider. If your expenses rely on one income source and that source disappears, what happens? Stress, panic, uncertainty. But if you have multiple streams, if one disappears, the others carry you through. That's financial security. That's freedom. Wealth isn't built by working harder at one job. It's built by increasing your value, expanding your income sources, and making money work for you. Those who understand this principle don't live paycheck to paycheck. They create options. They create opportunities. They create wealth. And so can you. One of the greatest financial disciplines you can develop is the ability to live below your means. Most people do the opposite. They spend everything they earn and sometimes even more. The moment they get a raise, they upgrade their lifestyle, a bigger house, a newer car, expensive vacations. But wealth isn't built by spending everything you make. It's built by discipline, by control, by making sure that your money is working for you instead of slipping through your fingers. Now, living below your means doesn't mean thinking small. It doesn't mean settling for a life of lack. No, it's about being smart. It's about being strategic. It's about understanding that financial success is a game of patience and intelligent decision-making. It's about saying, I will control my spending today so I can create greater opportunities for myself tomorrow. A big reason people struggle financially is that they don't control their spending habits. They let their emotions drive their purchases. They see something nice and they want it now. They feel pressure to keep up with their friends, so they spend money they don't have to impress people who aren't even paying attention. But here's the truth. Wealth isn't about what you wear, what car you drive, or how expensive your watch is. Wealth is about freedom. It's about control. It's about knowing that your financial future is secure, not because you look rich, but because you've built something solid. When I first started out, I didn't have much, but I learned early on that if I wanted to change my financial future, I needed to control what I did with every dollar. I had to decide, do I spend this on something temporary, or do I invest it in something that will grow? Most people choose temporary. They choose instant gratification, but successful people choose growth. They choose discipline. They choose to build even when no one else sees it. But while you live below your means, you must also think beyond your limits. Too many people shrink their dreams to fit their current situation. They tell themselves, I'll never make more than this, or this is just how life is. That kind of thinking keeps people stuck. If you believe you're meant for more, you have to think bigger. You have to see beyond where you are today and start preparing for the life you truly want. Living below your means isn't about staying small. It's about creating room for expansion. It's about giving yourself the ability to invest, to grow, to take opportunities when they come. The person who spends every dollar they make has no ability to seize a great opportunity when it arrives. But the person who controls their spending, who saves, who invests, they're ready. Here's a question. If a great opportunity came to you tomorrow, would you have the resources to take it? If the answer is no, it's time to start making changes today. It's time to be disciplined, to be smart with your money, to live below your means, but think beyond your limits. Because when you do that, you're not just making a smart financial decision, you're building the foundation for wealth. Debt can be a tool or it can be a trap. Used wisely, it can help you grow, invest, and create wealth. Used recklessly, it can steal your future before you even get started. The problem is that most people don't borrow wisely. They don't use debt as a stepping stone. They use it as a way to live beyond their means. And when that happens, Wealth doesn't grow. Stress does. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. People financing lifestyles they can't afford, buying things they don't need, with money they don't have. The house is too big. The car is too expensive. The credit card balance keeps rising. And what happens? Instead of working for themselves, they end up working for the bank. Every paycheck is already spoken for before it even arrives. That's not financial freedom. That's financial slavery. There are two kinds of debt, the kind that takes from you and the kind that works for you. The first kind is what keeps people trapped. It's the unnecessary loans, the high-interest credit cards, the purchases made out of impulse instead of wisdom. This kind of debt drains your resources, keeps you stressed, and prevents you from ever building wealth. The second kind, however, is strategic. It's the kind of debt that helps you acquire an asset that allows you to invest in something that grows in value. The key is knowing the difference. When I started my journey, I had to learn this the hard way. I remember watching people around me get caught in the cycle of borrowing for things that didn't bring them any return. Fancy clothes, luxury cars, expensive vacations, all paid for with money they hadn't earned yet. And what happened? They spent years paying for something that gave them only a few moments of pleasure. Meanwhile, those who were patient, those who lived with discipline, those who said no to unnecessary debt, they were the ones who eventually had the resources to invest, to grow, to build real wealth. A wise person once said, if you can't afford it twice, you can't afford it once. It's a good rule to live by. Before you borrow, ask yourself, is this debt going to help me or is it going to hurt me? Will it open doors or will it close them? Will it lead to greater financial security or will it keep me stuck in the same place year after year? If you're not sure, the safest choice is to wait. Some people believe that they can borrow their way into wealth. But the truth is, you don't build wealth by owing everyone money. You build wealth by having control over your money. The less you owe, the more you keep. The more you keep, the more you can invest. And the more you invest, the faster you can create real financial freedom. Be smart, borrow wisely, and never let debt steal your future. Wages will make you a living, but profits will make you a fortune. That's one of the greatest lessons when it comes to building wealth. Too many people spend their entire lives depending on a paycheck, working just to cover their expenses, never realizing that financial success isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much you create. The wealthy understand that money is made through value, not just time. If you want to change your financial future, you have to shift your mindset from earning a paycheck to building profits. Think about it, if you work for wages, your income is limited by how many hours you can work. There are only so many hours in a day, only so many days in a week. But profits have no limits. They can multiply while you sleep. They can grow beyond your effort. They can build momentum over time. The difference between those who struggle financially and those who build wealth is that one group focuses on working for money, while the other focuses on making money work for them. I remember a time when I was just like many people, working hard, putting in the hours, collecting a paycheck at the end of the week. And don't get me wrong, having a job is important. It puts food on the table. It takes care of necessities. But if you stop there, if you never look beyond the paycheck, you'll find yourself working just to survive instead of working to thrive. The turning point came when I realized that true financial security doesn't come from a salary, it comes from ownership, from creating something that pays you even when you're not working. Look at any successful person and you'll see this principle in action. Business owners, investors, entrepreneurs. They don't just trade their time for money, they create systems that generate profits. They understand that a job is a great place to start, but not a place to stay forever. If you want to build wealth, you have to start thinking like the wealthy. That means looking for ways to generate profits, not just earn wages. One of the simplest ways to begin is to create something of value. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's an investment, maybe it's a skill that you turn into a service. The key is to take control of your income, to develop a source of revenue that isn't limited by the hours you work. Some of the wealthiest people started small, selling a product, offering a service, investing in assets that grew over time. What they didn't do was depend on a paycheck alone. A man once told me, "I can't afford to start a business." I said, "You can't afford not to. If you're only living on wages, you're living on borrowed time. What happens if the job disappears? What happens if your expenses rise, but your salary does?" That's why profits are better. They give you control. They give you security. They give you the ability to build something that lasts. It doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a decision. A decision to stop settling for just a paycheck. A decision to start looking beyond wages and into profits. And if you make that decision today, your financial future will never be the same. Long before you become rich, you have to start thinking like the rich. That's the first step. Because if you put $1 million in the hands of someone with a poor mindset, they'll find a way to lose it. But if you take all the money away from someone with a wealthy mindset, they'll find a way to earn it all back. That's the difference. Wealth isn't just about what's in your bank account. It's about how you think, how you see opportunities, and how you make decisions. Most people think wealth is about luck, about being in the right place at the right time. But if that were true, why do lottery winners often end up broke? Why do professional athletes who made millions find themselves struggling financially after they retire? It's because money doesn't change your habits. It only magnifies them. If you don't have the mindset to manage and grow money, no amount of income will make you wealthy. The first thing you have to change is how you think about money. I remember when I was struggling financially, just trying to get by. My thoughts about money were small. I was focused on paying bills, on making it through the month. And that's exactly where I stayed. But then I started studying wealth, learning how successful people thought about money. And I realized something important. The rich don't focus on getting by, they focus on growing. They don't ask, "How can I afford this?" They ask, "How can I create the value to make this possible?" One of the biggest shifts in thinking is understanding that wealth is not something you chase, it's something you attract. It's a result of the person you become. If you develop the skills, the habits, and the discipline of wealthy people, then wealth becomes a natural outcome. But if you keep thinking like someone who is just getting by, that's exactly where you'll stay. Look at the difference in how people handle money. Some people get paid, and the first thing they do is spend it. Others get paid, and the first thing they do is invest it. The wealthy don't just earn money. They make their money work for them. They understand that money is a tool, not something to waste on instant gratification. That's why they invest in assets that grow over time instead of liabilities that drain their bank account. Someone once told me, "I'll start thinking like the rich when I become rich." But it doesn't work that way. You have to start now. If you wait until you have wealth to develop a wealth mindset, you'll never get there. It starts with the little things, how you manage your money today, how you invest in yourself, how you seek out opportunities instead of excuses. The habits you develop right now determine whether you'll stay where you are or move toward financial success. It's not about making one big decision. It's about making small, smart decisions every day, choosing to save instead of spend, choosing to invest in learning instead of wasting time, choosing to surround yourself with people who inspire you instead of those who hold you back. These choices made consistently shape your financial future. The first step to wealth is changing your mindset. Once you start thinking like the rich, you'll start making decisions like the rich. And when you make decisions like the rich, it won't be long before you start seeing the results. One of the greatest lessons in wealth building is learning to say no to what you want now, so you can say yes to something greater later. That's the principle of delayed gratification, the ability to resist short-term temptations for long-term rewards is what separates those who struggle financially from those who build lasting wealth. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Too many people sacrifice their future for momentary pleasure. They get their paycheck on Friday, and by Monday it's gone, spent on things they didn't need, on things that brought a little excitement but no real value, and then they wonder why they're always living paycheck to paycheck. The truth is, wealth isn't built by spending, it's built by discipline. I remember when I first started out, I wanted a nice car. I had just begun making a little money, and I thought, I deserve it. But then I stopped myself and asked, what do I deserve more? A nice car today or financial freedom in the future? So I waited. I drove an old reliable car instead, and while others were spending their money on luxuries, I was investing mine in assets, in learning, in opportunities. And because I waited, I was later able to afford not just one nice car, but the ability to buy what I wanted without worrying about money. That's the power of delayed gratification. Most people think wealth is about how much you earn, but it's really about how much you keep and how wisely you use it. There are people making six figures who are broke because they spend everything they make. And there are people making modest incomes who are building wealth because they have the discipline to save, invest, and wait. Think about the farmer who plants a seed. He doesn't dig it up the next day to see if it's growing. He doesn't get frustrated when he doesn't see results immediately. He waters it, nurtures it, and gives it time to grow. And then, after weeks and months of patience, the harvest comes. That's how wealth works. You don't get rich overnight. You build, you invest, you grow, and the more disciplined you are, the bigger the reward. The problem is, most people don't want to wait. They want success now. They want wealth now. But wealth doesn't come to those who demand it. It comes to those who prepare for it. If you spend every dollar you earn today, you'll have nothing tomorrow. If you invest every dollar you can today, you'll have more than you need tomorrow. That's the difference between those who struggle and those who succeed. Some people say, but I work hard, I deserve to enjoy my money. And that's true, you should enjoy it. But enjoying your money doesn't mean wasting it. It means using it wisely so that you can enjoy even more in the future. It means understanding that true freedom comes not from spending, but from having choices. And the more disciplined you are with your money today, the more choices you'll have tomorrow. The key is to start small. If you're used to spending everything, start by saving just a little. If you're used to instant gratification, practice waiting just a little longer. The habit of discipline grows over time, and before long, you'll realize that what once felt like sacrifice now feels like power. The power to control your financial future, to make decisions based on wisdom, not impulse, to build a life of wealth and freedom. Wealth isn't built on luck, and it's not built overnight. It's built on choices. And the choice to delay gratification today is the choice to live in abundance tomorrow.